deers. Look at them. I don't even know if you could see that. I just had this feeling to turn around and there they were. Look at them. Hi. Hello, little baby. It's mom and her baby. Another deer. I've just been seeing deers. Another deer. Another deer. Another deer, man. I keep seeing deers. I've never seen deers this much. It's crazy. The keys of the universe are there for those who decide to take them. The keys of the universe are there for those who decide to take them.
These assaults, these attacks are going to come. Don't think like the mind would like that these attacks are coming because you're on the wrong path. The attacks are coming because you're on the right path. Because you're on the right path. And sometimes you're this close, you see, to sealing your confirming your realization. This is why forces have come to sabotage your opportunity for freedom. And let me tell you, they will come. They came for me. They came for every liberated being, every Buddha, every Christ, every Krishna, every Rama, every Prophet Muhammad, everyone. They have come, and they will come for you. Okay? Once you have conquered them, and how will you conquer them? Not by fighting with them, but by remaining true, remaining in the heart of truth. This is what you are appointed. I have not put swords in your hands and guns and bullets and machetes. I've said simply, remain with God, remain in the true, remain only as the witness. Don't get identified with these forces. How do they work, these forces? What is their success rate? Why are they so good at distracting seekers from completing their realization? Why are they so effective? I will tell you why they are so effective. Because they strike always to the person in you and the capacity in you to be diverted from your divinity and go back into personhood. They will call you, but they will always be calling the person in you. They'll raise up doubts because only the person can be doubt. Only the person can doubt. Only the God in you is without doubt. They will strike at the doubt, at resistances. They'll show you, oh, you're gambling your life away. You're giving it, you're surrendering to some guy. You're not surrendering to some guy. You're surrendering to the almighty power, which is all-pervading, imperishable, everlasting, eternal, true, full of love, complete. You're surrendering to your completeness. So don't fall here. Fall earlier when you're beginning, but don't fall now. Now you have the advantage because you are discovering that your real self is not at some distance from you. It is here. It is not any physical distance from you. It is only a question of subtlety. You see? You are here. The mind wants you to be here, to be there. But you're here. What is it that's here? It has no form. It is not the body that is here. Because you are here, the body is here. It's not because the body is here, you are here. It's because you are here, the body is here. And everything else is here. Okay? So you must confirm this. You, consciousness. Consciousness in its dynamic expression as the pure presence or the sense I am. Watch this feeling I am in you. Don't give it to the mind, because the mind will convert it into a person. It is not a person. It is the presence of God. And if you hold to this, what you have seen, not a teaching, I'm not teaching you and learn, I'm pointing you so you discover.
I think we're right here. So ladies and gentlemen, before we even begin this video, I'm going to say the same thing. This video is going to be the final installment of this series, and it's going to tie in all the other parts. So if you didn't watch all the other parts, watch them in order, watch from the beginning, and see, and watch the ones that you feel like would resonate with you. But it's important to watch them because this one brings it all home in a very funny way, and you will realize, I'm telling you, it's gonna the reason at least I think it's funny, it's because it's gonna sound like I'm saying the exact same thing across all the videos, and in a way I am. Funny, I am being the most powerful words you could say. It's you, but the self that you are searching for, the self that you're trying to delve in and find, is blocked by everything you think you are in the external world. Now I'm gonna give you a little bit of my own beliefs, right? I don't believe everybody is on their way back straight to okay, I'll say it like this. How do I say it? There's levels. That's all I can say. There's levels to it. But the thing is it's levels to yourself, to the self. You've created a persona, you've created an ego, whatever you want to say. Many of these spiritual gurus and some masters and enlightened teachers, whatever you want to say the same thing. That's why it may sound like I'm repeating myself. And that's why I'm like at this at this video, I find it very funny because there was one thing I missed, right? When I first awakened, and let me give this to y'all. When I first awakened, immediately I thought people thought I was weird. I mean, they thought I was weird before that, but I was even weirder, which is weird isn't a bad word, but weird. That I went crazy, I lost my mind. This. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of people who have awakened and want to give you the real story will tell you awakening is not butterflies and rainbows and, oh, we're all happy. No, it's not. The truth is wild. When you awaken, you feel like a beast, like you feel like an ape. You feel like, oh, I don't want to be here. Like, what's going on? Like, all your trauma you don't deal with, all the things that you think you've gotten over or dealt with that just come to the light. It's not for the weak. But ironically, being vulnerable and being weak, but to yourself, is the key. It's one of the keys. There's many keys, but it's one of the biggest keys. Being able to be vulnerable. And like I said it in an earlier part. Revolver. Look at Revolver, the rooftop scene and the elevator scene, or just watch the entire movie if you have not seen it. It has a beautiful way of explaining like the first level of there is nothing to fear. There is no fear. Because he conquered the first fear, which was the external, but then himself on the elevator fear, you know? They told him in the movie, like, this is what I want to say too. When you awaken, knowledge has a weird way of just finding you and like explaining the things that you're going through, or allowing you to, it almost attracts itself to you, because everything that you're seeking is attracted to you. But if you're chasing it, you repel it. But yeah, when you awaken, everything on the external has a weird way of bringing things to you, so you'd be able to explain this to people. So for me, I'm very into anime and video games So when I awakened, this became more like a video game. That's why when you see certain gurus or teachers explain it from them and everyone is a reflection of you, it's like, I didn't even see it like that. I saw it as a video game, and that's the funny uniqueness of saying that it's you, it's your God self. Because when you awaken to it, your whole language and the way you move, everything will change, but it'll be you. It'll be the original you. I did a video. It was regarded well. Whatever that means. KRS-One, Remind Yourself. You should go listen to that song. That's another song that when I awakened, it found me, or at least along the journey, because I was far by this point. But that's a really, 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 really good song. Really, really good song. But Neville Goddard has a quote. It's "Be still and know that I am God." I don't know if he was quoting it from the Bible or whatever, but he was a man who basically broke down the Bible. Dancer, just like me. We feel literally movement and frequency through our body language. So we definitely have a high understanding of what it means to have trauma stored in the body, because at least from my path, and I've never heard him explain this, but I know he would get exactly what I meant, is when you're dancing and you're expressing yourself, it almost feels like you're literally like shedding in real time and like you're in sync. And that's almost, when you hear people explain that it's a higher frequency and we have a light body, it feels like that. It feels like your body, like apparently, I'm not someone who read the Bible, but in the Bible it says, like, you know, like the body can do things and unshift. And I know unshift, let me finish that sentence. And I know people have experienced it through meditation. So that's why I bring up the "Be still and know that I am God." Why do you think it's "Be still and know that I am God"? Because that higher creative source energy came out and began to express itself through movement, singing, art, buildings. It came outside. So why do you think we pray? Eyes closed in silence. Meditate, close, silent. Why do you think it's silencing the mind to then unshift and become a higher being? It's the answers are so simple and in front of everybody's face that I think that's why it's one of the most difficult things for people to realize. Your body will shift. Like, man, it's like a psychedelic experience. Shoot, I knew what was going on the moment I heard that DMT naturally is secreted in the body, I think from the pineal gland. And DMT, if you don't know about it, I mean, look it up, but it's dimethyltryptamine. I think that's the full scientific name. But DMT releases when you die, physically, when the body physically dies, which that's very funny because that's what it feels like. If you reach higher states of meditation and prayer, I know people feel it, that part where their body feels like it's that stillness that then rises, and then they get scared and it comes back down, and it comes back down. I actually had a meditation the other day where this happened because it literally felt like I was like, it's like the fear brings you right back down. If you've ever noticed, like when you're astral traveling or when people say things like, I don't know, like I was having this crazy dream. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to really put this in words, but it's just like when you go to sleep and you have a dream and then all of a sudden you realize you're in a dream and you wake up, sort of thing. It's sort of like that in a way. The moment you become aware of the stillness and like kind of like the unfolding and the shedding of all the conditions of this reality, sometimes it might be very alarming at first, and then you just kind of come back because your mind is almost like not ready to let go. Now, this still happens to me, and I've been aware for years. But that's why I say there's still like levels to this, because there was a part I shot before this, and I don't know if I re-said the same thing I said in the beginning of that part in this part. But when I say there's levels, there really are. That's why I think there are legit some people who just go straight to source. I mean, when people have near-death experiences, they go straight to it. I mean, that's another thing too. I've been watching more of those lately, and it's crazy. It's like, not like frequently, but I've been watching near-death. Go watch someone who had a near-death experience. They will tell you the same thing, but then there are those of us who have gone through walking the unshedding, where they're kind of going through life, and then all of a sudden they're knocked out their body by a near-death experience, and then they go into this realm, and they're shown how, like in movie screens and projectors sometimes, and they're met by different entities, and they feel this overwhelming warmth and love, and all of that can be felt right now. Some of them come back and say that they forgot it, that they this and this. See, and when I had my awakening, I was never able to forget because there's like, most of the people who are NDEers or something, they'll go on and talk about their life on how they, I was just kind of, raised Christian, this, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. This like, they'll just be explaining their life, and it's like this one impactful moment that kind of shows them, yes, there's something outside of this. And then they come back, and some of them retain the memories, some of them forget. And it's like, when you walk awakening though, when you have that awakening, you're like somebody who is going through the death experience the entire time. They call it spiritual ego death. But again, I don't even want to use the same terms. I just want to be speaking from the heart, speaking from me. Which brings me back to another very, very funny point about why I say it's literally just all you. And that point is, when I first awakened, I did not mesh with anyone who said they were awakened. Like, there were my awakening shed everything, like in the beginning, like it shed everything. And I don't, maybe it led me to do this, like this right here, what I'm doing, speaking about it, is I awakened, and immediately, the first challenge I was faced with was like vegans or vegetarians saying that like that is the only way, and this and that. And what's funny is I said, but if everything is energy, how I don't feel that. I don't feel that. Yet at the same time, I'm saying I don't feel that because I was in this I joined this community. I'm not gonna drop the name because this person is a content creator, but I was in his community in the beginning, and right away I seen, oh wow, like this thing has levels to it. It has super levels, right? Because I joined it and I was like, it's what I love is that the brother who passed, Brother Panic, I love that he was so on the money. Like, I really feel like his content was shown to me because we were just like of similar like frequency, and he was brought to me to kind of explain some of these concepts and things that I was going through, because I didn't have words for what I was going through when I first awakened. I couldn't even describe it, and even if I describe it now, I think one, YouTube wouldn't even allow it, and second, people would really think I was weird on the video. Like, when I talk about all this stuff like inner empowerment and try to fucking, like, not trying, but uplifting people, I'm not even saying what I really want to say. I really don't. Because like I said, when I first awakened, it was anime and video games for me. So, like, one of my favorite artists, he had a song, he even said on the song, like, Dragon Ball, Naruto, same story, different name, all I see is me. Because all of these stories do speak of you. Actually, a dude I referenced on here, on this list, I like to watch because he reminds me of me, and getting with like-minded individuals can make you feel less alone in this. But he even said it, someone brought it up, he said he doesn't watch anime, but he said, somebody said, oh yeah, it's like Dragon Ball Z when you go Super Saiyan. And he said He said, yeah, is that the guy? I seen it on like a box of cereal the other day. I was looking at it. Is that the guy that like powers up and his hair goes yellow? And he said, yeah, all of these things are us. And he said, I know that may sound weird. And I'm like, yo, no, that's what I was trying to tell my peers that were around me. One of them even said, oh, Jarrell really thinks we live in an anime. I'm like, yo, y'all have not felt the things we do. Like, put on a higher mindset in your body and find out what it can do. Because you'll find out really quickly we're not the physical, but we're in such a dense carbon body that a lot of people cannot realize that. Like, how are there these miracles of people touching and healing someone in this? And I'm just like, you know, and I kind of want to get into, I want to get into CERN, but I don't want to, because video will end up fucking shadow banned. But why, you got to just ask yourself, I want to say this. Why do you think CERN, like, just want to say this, just want to put this in here. No, don't shadow ban my video, YouTube. CERN was gifted a statue of Shiva, the dancer, Shiva, like this. And if y'all don't know what CERN is, look up CERN. But Shiva, just like this, outside the building, Shiva. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. I just want to say, the people that mofos want to give so much power to and are at the top of the food chain, they think, and they're so powerful in this world, know the exact things we're talking about. That's why they don't really, I don't want to say they personally don't like, because it's free will, but they know that the general populace is not going to awaken to this sort of thing. People are just going to go, either if it doesn't resonate with people, they're just going to go, oh, you're weird, you're crazy. Good. I'd love for people to say that, because then that means, okay, this is not the information for you right now to be receiving it. But to those who really hear, that's what it is. This is the crucifixion. I mean, I could definitely tell you this. Crucifying the consciousness. I made a video where I talked about, I really understood Jesus now. I knew it, because when he tried to bring this knowledge to people, it didn't, that's why, oh man, I love it. I think I'm going to put a certain video. I think I want to put that video, but it'd be too late to do it now. Maybe I should just do it in the beginning of the video. I'll do it in the beginning of this video. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do it in the beginning of this video. So by this point, you've already seen the video, but every one of these enlightened masters and teachers tried to, they were met with these challenges, and that's why I said it's really like, it's just not, I don't know, it's just not what you think. I feel like I'm starting to ramble and kind of like go down, because I run out of words, because there's not much to say on, it's like the same thing. It's like, it's so surface level that it's like, I really want to talk about the insane stuff. Like, that's the part that wants to come through, and I'd be thinking maybe I should just do that on a video. I should just let loose. Maybe, you know what, screw it. Chains off, let's go. I'm gonna make sure I be a little bit careful though, because YouTube, trust me, that, see, if I even say what I want to say about that, people are gonna think it's weird. But all right, it's you. Everything is mirrored. It's a real life video game. I'm telling you. Go to the store, go to your local market, and pay attention to the conversations. Pay attention to how everything is set up. Pay attention to the aisles. Pay attention to the merchants, which are the people working at the store. Pay attention to the birds, the bees, the trees, the leaves. It's all a mimicry. It's all a mimicry. Do you kind of get that? It's all a mimicry, if I can put that in simplest terms. I think the best way to explain it is like, okay, I like to use movies. Here's a really good example. Yeah, let's do it. There's a movie called Divergent. I probably didn't go into detail in the other videos like I'm about to go now, and I'm going to speak pretty fast, so follow me. Divergent. In the movie Divergent, there's a main character named Trish. She belongs to, I think she belongs to the faction that's Abnegation. Now, in Divergent, it's a post-apocalyptic society where they think everything on the outside of the walls have been destroyed. What is that familiar of? Are you familiar with Attack on Titan? Where in the beginning of Attack on Titan, they I don't want to spoil that if you haven't watched it, but you start to see the patterns because it's all speaking of you. So Divergent, they're split into factions. They've got Erudite, Candor, Abnegation, Amnesty, and Dauntless. 5 and then 6, which is the factionless. So now, in this world, they hunt Divergents. Well, what are Divergents, you ask? Divergents are the ones who do not fit into any of the factions. They fear it because their mind cannot be controlled. When you actually watch Divergent, Divergent is kind of scary how accurate they were with things came in the future. In this world, they were injecting something in people's bodies to make them more susceptible to suggestion. Very odd, you know, thinking about injections and vaccines and stuff, right? So now, in Divergent, we follow Trish. She was Abnegation. Abnegation is the selfless faction. They help the homeless, which the homeless in this universe are factionless, which is very interesting that homeless in this universe are factionless, if you get what I'm saying. Then you have Erudite. What is Erudite? Erudite are the bird brains, the intelligent. They got all the stats. They know everything. They're know-it-alls, blah, blah, blah. That's Erudite. Then you got Candor. Candor is the justice system. Law, justice, stand for being honest. They're brutally honest. Candor, they even say when they hold you on trial, they got a truth serum that they put in you, and like the more you lie and don't be honest with yourself, it like makes your body fucking lock up and simulate like, I don't know, like 10,000 electric shocks, some crazy shit. But Candor, they say thank you for your candor. Then you got Dauntless. They are the brave. They are fearless. They are, go get it, blah, 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 crazy. I'm telling you, whoever made this movie and wrote it up, it was like a masterpiece. The series I don't know how people feel about the other movies, but I still feel like it's a masterpiece because one of the most important parts gets shown in the second and third movie. I think it's the second. I think there's 2 movies. I don't know if it's 3. I get that confused. But anyways, you got the 5 factions. Amnesty are the peaceful, hippie, like all kind, grooving, doing their thing, right? Pay attention to this. Trish you're following Trish. You know, there's rumors going on about Abnegation, that the leader of the Abnegation was beating his child and all of this and wild stuff, blah, blah, blah. And there's a rumor that Abnegation beat their children anyways. So anyways, it gets to the point where Trish goes in for a test where they're going to see what faction she could be. When you go into this room, they basically sit you in this chair and then you go through a little trial and then they tell you, okay, you're Erudite, you're this, but it doesn't matter where you end up placing on the test. You can choose either of the 4 or 5 factions. You don't have to choose the one you're born under. But mostly when they go in for this test, they're kind of already in the mindset that you're gonna be whatever faction like you were born in. So Trish goes in. Shocker. She's all of the factions. The girl gets her up and goes, come on, you gotta go. You gotta go. She goes, why? What were the results? I thought it was gonna tell me. And in the beginning, you're seeing how Trish didn't really fit in with anywhere. You could see how she didn't want to be a part of any one faction. She felt all things. Like they even show you in the beginning that Abnegation, they don't look in the mirrors because like vanity, or is it vanity? Is that what it is? I don't know if it's vanity. I don't know if vanity is the word they use, but they don't look at their reflection. So you can see in the beginning of the movie, they show her looking at her reflection. That was a B. So yeah, they show her looking at her reflection, but she gets up and she's asking the girl, like, what was I? Like, blah, blah, blah. And she said, come on, like you weren't any, like you were Abnegation. And she's like, what? And she's like, you were Abnegation, Dauntless, Erudite, Candor, and blah, blah, blah. So she, frees her out. And she said, what does that mean? I thought the test was going to tell me. And she said, no, you're like, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. You get it? Now she was getting her out of there because they take divergence out. They find out you're divergent, you're dead. Like, it's but pretty much I'm gonna fast forward a lot. She ends up picking Dauntless as her faction. Dauntless are known for being brave. So that's the movie's way of saying she's daring to be brave for herself. She's daring to be brave. She picked a brave faction, though she's divergent, so she's all of them. But she picked Dauntless. That's just really good writing. So it's showing you that she's being brave to be herself. What did I say in the beginning? The universe. The keys are there for those who will take them. It's you, it's yourself. It's yourself. So she chose for herself. Then, let's fast forward ahead. I'm not gonna spoil the whole movie, but essentially they start hunting her. You know, they start coming. They know what she is, and the leader of Eurydice gains a lot of power. She gains power. Abnegation is usually the one that they're the leaders because they're selfless. But Eurydice, the main woman of Eurydice, took over because, yeah, she was planning this. She was plotting for the whole time. She was like, you know, the brainiac should be in lead of everyone. It just makes sense. But the leader captures Triss. This is like the movie's over, and puts her in this seat to face herself, right? Actually, another thing I should bring up too is when Four is another character, puts her through a test of like fear. They put him in the test to see how she conquers fear, and in the test he's watching her because he's linked up to her memories or her mind, and in it she realizes it's a dream, like all the fear and everything. She goes, it's not real, like this isn't real. And as she says it isn't real, it all lifts and she wakes back up. And he goes, how did you do that? And he was like, no, like Dauntless don't face their fear like that. Like, and you know, he ends up knowing she's divergent. But anyways, we get to the next movie. But I wanted to throw that statement in is because you realize fear is everything that's keeping you back from knowing your true self. And it's fear of this on the outside, and then a deeper fear of really realizing. It's like people are locking themselves. But anyways, we get to the second or the third movie, whichever one it is, and she's put in a chair again. She's hooked up in a crazy chair this time. The Eurydice leader got her, and she's looking at her, and she's like, I'm not gonna fight you. And she's like, you're not gonna fight me, you're gonna fight her. And then she looks back, the Eurydice leader is gone, and it's herself standing there. And she's like this. Then herself raises a hand. And she's like, what are you? And she said, I'm you. Charges at her. And slammed, like, I think she kneed her against the wall. And she was like, you're not me. And she's like, I'm not gonna fight you. And she's telling her, like, you are, I'm gonna fight you. I'm what they see when they look at you. And it's her shadow self. She's fighting herself. Like most people in real life, you're fighting yourself. That tough guy frame, and I don't let anybody walk on me, and I don't let anybody disrespect me. That's a front. That's a front. That's not the real you. You're not in fighting with anyone but yourself. But you don't see that. A lot of people don't see that. Anything, and it could be a people pleaser, whatever the frame is, they're fighting themselves. You know, because it's trauma. So, you know, this shadow version of herself serves everything that is within her. So she's fighting. So, and she picks her up and throws her, but that's just to get her off her. And she goes, I'm not gonna fight you. And she unclenches her fist. And you know, this is after they have the banter back and forth of being like, you know, I'm you, I'm what they see when they look at you. And she lets go. Boom. And her shadow self comes running at her and poofs. Can't touch her. You can't touch someone who's putting down their arms and just like, I'm not fighting. That alone breaks people. Trust me, because I've seen that before I was awakened. Just not giving in, because everything is an exchange of energy. So when people say, oh, you can't do this and you can't do this, no, that's not true. All of that is a mindset. Because if this is a world created from our mind and the very traumas and things that we go through, it's not true. You can reverse all of the mindset. You can put on a higher mind that no one will understand. And that's also the truth about awakening. When you awaken, no one is really going to understand you when you return to yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's not an understanding. It's a feeling and knowing. You'll hear many stories of people just saying that, like, oh, over there, we just kind of feel and and vibe. We don't even use it's telepathy. We don't even, so if you've got all that energy in you, they even said this about aliens when they landed here, that some people are going to be afraid of aliens because they're going to be of a higher frequency. We are the aliens, and because you can see it as you awaken. Some people don't even know. I've met people that they don't even know what to do around me. They don't even understand why they feel the way they do. Sometimes it's a calm, inviting, and some they just gotta get away. Like, oh, they don't even want to hear me talk. Like, oh, they go. Like, I just be speaking and being myself, and it'll be, I don't want to hear you talk. That's what I'm telling you. It's not what it looks like. Like, awakening people, like, we are the aliens. But after Trish goes through that experience, guess what happens? A being of light and digital like AI appears and goes, you passed the test. We made the test for you. We made the test for people like you in this society that would rise above the 5 factions. So what does that look like for real life? You got the people here saying, oh, I want to escape the Matrix. Getting all this, nothing wrong with, getting money and attracting it and using it to better your way of life or whatever. But you've seen the other side of that, the negative, the fights over money over here. You've seen the people on this side. You've seen the bad over here. You've seen the wars over here. You've seen so she said, that entity said to her, we made the test for people like you who would ascend. And before that came up to her, guess what? It was a little box. You can see it. It flew to her like this. And it was the tree of life. It was Yggdrasil, Norse mythology. It was Yggdrasil on the thing. It was the tree of life. It flew over to her and opened up into that being and showed all the factions and showed all the aspects, because that's what the spiritual person is. They're an amalgamation or a culmination of knowledge, intelligence, wisdom, and understanding and knowing. You're all of it together in one. You're all of it together in one. And that's why because you realize it's nothing at all. Like, there's nothing to be sought. Everything that everyone is seeking on the external of themselves is right here. They're looking for themselves. They're thinking happiness is outside of yourself. They're thinking, oh, my lover and everything, or when I just get this person, I'll be happy. No, because when that person leaves again, you won't be happy. It's in here. That's why I tell you, like, I'm grateful for the experiences that I got, because it ended up leading me to where I'm at now. I don't think a lot of people get this. Even when I told the story of how I got pepper sprayed by my ex on my birthday, immediately I was met with this. And this is why, and no disrespect to anyone, I just understand where everyone is on their journey. I was immediately met with this. Oh, you got to get away from that person. Oh no, like, you got to get away from that energy. Oh, you got to leave that alone. You got to, go attract someone that no, what you don't understand is that needed to happen. Why do you think Jesus was? And I'm not saying that you have to be like that, but you have to get your mind convinced in a way where nobody can take your freedom and your energy from you. I've had people say the most wild things in the last 2 years. Like, wild stuff. And the thing is because a being of a higher realm isn't going to look like what people think on this realm. They think they're going to understand it or be with it and no, it's not. No, there's not. It's just whatever you're calibrated to. That's the best way to explain it. Triss, she wasn't calibrated to the other faction. She always felt different. Same for me, man. Always felt different. Always felt odd. I was the person who would get new sneakers. Somebody would step on them and somebody else on the outside. And usually people say this is one of the biggest influences is when you're in a group of people, everyone's around you looking like, what are they going to do? What are you going to do? Ooh, what are you going to do? But me, when I would get if I got new sneakers and they got stepped on, I already had this inner knowing that it's like, oh, it don't matter. You're good. You're all right. I'm off. That's it. And somebody, oh, my bad. No, you're good. And it was funny to see people around me be like, oh, man, I wouldn't. There's nothing. All of this is nothing. All of it is nothing. You can have your wants, you can have desires of the heart, but you have to know you don't need them. That's what it is. You are happy and content without them. And that's how I felt complete bliss, ecstasy even. When I got pepper sprayed, it felt like nothing. And I only say the pepper spraying part because it's easier to say than the other thing, because I feel like a very select few know the other story. Know the other story, so I don't want to say it, but that's it. It's you. It's legit you. Like, it's you. That's all it is. It's you. You are going to transcend this. You are going to look like an alien to absolutely everyone. That's it. That's what it is. The movies tell you, man. Revolver, Divergent. Revolver is a really good one for people that need to get over their ego. Revolver shows you. Like, literally, the chess master tells him, he goes, I bet he's telling you right now that, and he's like, am I the one that's playing games with you? And he said, where would an enemy hide? Like, where would he hide? And it's behind your pain. You really can't see the one that is like creating and manifesting more of the same things in your life until you dissolve it. That's just is what it is. I've been talking for a long time. I don't even know how long I've been talking, really. It just feels timeless. But it's you. It's you. It's you. There's a deer up there. Man, this is the 4th deer I have seen, man. 4th or like 5th, man. I keep seeing deers. I've never seen deers this much living here. But it's you. Like, there's not, I'm out of stuff to say. I'm not. I can keep going, but it's just gonna kind of go back into the same stuff because, like, anime, the reason I love Jujutsu Kaisen, and I think a lot of people don't even see it, is that in the universe of Jujutsu Kaisen, it's called cursed energy. And there are some fans that are so stuck on the idea that, oh, but Jujutsu is only in Japan. Like, Jujutsu cursed energy is only, and I'm like, I bet if Gege really wanted to show y'all, it would be all around the world. Because, I mean, I think he specifically picked Japan because of like a personal reason for writing the story. Like, it's that Japan, I think it was like that people are very negative or something like that, or harbor a lot of negative emotions and don't show it. And so when he created the series, that's it. But don't quote me, I don't know if that's true. But in Jujutsu Kaisen, it's cursed energy. The cursed energy is stored like in the stomach. And oh, it's just so ironic. Like, they're telling you right in front of your face. It doesn't matter if it's chakra from Naruto. It doesn't matter if it's Gohan Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z. It doesn't matter if it's Nen from Hunter x Hunter. Nen is actually what inspired his power system. Apparently, like, I think the writers are friends. In Hunter x Hunter, it's Nen. Like, the Nen, oh my gosh, your personality is like attached to your Nen style. Like, there's manipulators, specialists, enhancers, emitters. What am I missing? Transmuters, there's 6. Specialist, enhancer. Specialist is when you're all of them. Then there's enhancer, transmuter, which again sounds like alchemy. Transmuter, which this is all alchemy. Manipulator. Damn, what are they? I just got 5, but I can't remember. There's one. Conjuration. Thank you. And I haven't watched Hunter x Hunter in forever, but that is locked into my being because that was one of the first things I realized with Awakening. Like, that one was the biggest. The biggest, it's Nen. It's an aura that's around their body. Like, we are electromagnetic beings. You can look this up. We give off a field of energy. It actually shows you how far our heart reaches. Our heart gives off more electromagnetic signals than the brain. The heart space is bigger, which is why it's all in the heart. The chakras Shit, Avatar: The Last Airbender showed you the Avatar state, boom, and then the blood and all the chakras. Like, it's in everything we watch. But I have literally talked to people who will be like, yo, these shows are speaking of us. And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, I get that. What's next? What do you mean, what's next? If you actually apply this, your life will shift. Like, if you're struggling with things and you go within, it'll shift. You'll unlock all these cool things and you'll start seeing the synchronicities. Man, there's some stuff that I can tell y'all, like, oh my gosh. I mean, I talked about it in the channel divinity video. There's nothing else. Look it, I'm gonna say this right now. This is for those who I have said and personally met sometimes, where I said you have to be militant about it. It's not militant in where there's this seriousness and edginess. No, it's how much are you willing to really return to yourself? Who's willing to stand up and be the Christ energy, the Christ consciousness, and experience it? Because it's you. So who's willing to be it? Not just, oh yeah, we're all love and we're all one. I get that. What's next? What do you mean what's next? If you say what's next, then they don't get it. That immediately tells me. And I even remember I had someone who was close to me in my life even say that. Oh, but unconditional love is like, I don't need to understand you. It's just, I respect it. No, we're still saying that from this dimension. We're down here saying, oh yeah, it's unconditional love. No, if you're the embodiment of unconditional love, that looks really different. I'm going to tell you right now, that looks really different because you don't expect anything from anybody. I'm talking real. You can't just say, oh yeah, we're all love and we're all. No, there are some people where you can look at them and they don't believe that. You can like literally tell they don't believe that. You can feel it because it's energy. You can feel it because it's energy. That's all I'll say. You can feel it. It's yeah, man, I loved it. I love this because, I mean, I just have to completely reference because when I'm me and I say certain things that I like that someone else said that I felt and wanted to say, they say, I can find a way to just say it in my own way. But this saying really came from Life, like, Tone. And he was literally like, I'm not speaking to victims. I'm speaking to people who are getting up. Because if you literally get up and decide one day, I'm going to see the beauty in everything. I'm really going to practice what I preach and be unconditional love. Shit, Brother Panic said it too. I'm talking to those who are going to do the work. Why don't you put in a higher consciousness in your mind if this is all consciousness and you find out what happens? Because let me give y'all an example of what happened to me recently. I posted a video on the channel that you literally could watch called Prophetic Dream, where I said in the dream, I was at the store and I couldn't even understand the language of people anymore. And I said, hang on, give me 1 sec. I ran to the bathroom in the dream. And in the dream, and you know, they say God speaks to you in your dreams, right? Your subconscious mind, right? So, and your subconscious mind is the one creating reality. I run into the bathroom and I'm in the mirror and it's this entity that's saying like, remember, like, you know who you are, you already know. And I'm sitting here dissolving in the dream and then I wake up. But it didn't feel like a bad dissolving. It felt like my being started to become lighter. Then fast forward to literally 2 weeks ago, like 2 weeks and a week ago from these two dreams. I have another dream where in the dream, I'm running and I was like protecting people. And then I get to this point where something addressed me by name in the dream. Something was literally like, Jarrell, remember who you are. And I woke up, boom, like what the fuck was that? Like some nut shit. And that's what I'm saying. Put on a higher mind and you see what types of dreams and shit you have. I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more crazy dream. What's another crazy one? I was kind of loud there, so that I even spooked myself. Like, but that's how the energy made me feel. Like, it was like this shit that said, stop playing. Boom, you were it. Then I get into a meditation. I actually spoke with this woman that I watched her video, and she was even like, yeah, I'm not surprised that you passed out in your chair. Like, the energy is OD. But I'm watching this woman's video, and then I said, all right, you know what? I'm gonna meditate. So I decided to meditate. In the meditation, boom, I slump, go to sleep. I didn't even realize I went to sleep. I wake up in this place where I'm with the woman of the video I'm watching. She's just breaking things down to me, saying welcome. I'm looking in the sky, I'm seeing dragons and shit. And mind you, part of me is conscious because I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? That's the first thing I said in the dream. And then she's just like, you're initiated this. She's explaining all this stuff. And I'm summing it up really because I have not even told this story yet on videos because it was sacred. That's why I said, like, if awakened people really wanted to tell you the stories, like half of the people listening to these things would think they were weird as shit. But that's why I don't let anyone take my energy because I already know where I'm at, if that makes sense. But then, ready? So after that, she like, I think she reached her hands out or because the dragons were speaking to me and shit too. But then I was knocked away in a realm. Woo. Then this woman in golden light, who the lady told me when I actually was out the meditation and told me it could have been Mother Sophia in the Bible. It could have been all these powerful women that were taking out the Bible. But I met that. Like when people talk about, oh, if they believe Jesus is not real or real, he's an entity that people have created by believing in him because we create magical deities, but he's real in a sense, right? Well, I've met the energy. I've met Christ. But see, if you tell people that, they like, I don't look it. I've never been to a church. How did I meet it before someone that read the Bible? Because he's speaking about where to go. Like, he's not telling you to follow him. It's yourself. And by following yourself, in essence, you would be following him. So I end up meeting Mother Sophia or whatever that was. It was this woman draped in golden light who, to me, she took a familiar form of someone I knew who was really like sweet to me in my physical life. And I was like looking like, where are we going? And she took me and she said, I need you to remember who you are and to remember love always. And remember me, love. Like, that's how she's speaking to me. And literally, she fucking teleported. Like, we fucking, like, got, like, it felt like a wormhole. Like, it literally felt like my consciousness being pulled like this. And we're in front of my parents' house. And then we're over here. And, like, we're going to different scenes where I've lived and been. And then it was just, and when she said, remember love and remember me, love, I woke up in the chair and the lady's video was finished. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what the fuck? But yet I'll be the same person. And I don't mean this with any, it's just me. Like, I'm just speaking from the heart. Like, I don't have any, it's so hard to explain that because this is why I usually just don't tell these stories. But I want someone who hears it and gets it to experience it for themselves, experience themselves. I woke up like, what the fuck was that? And then, yeah, I'm trying to kind of see where to go, but I started talking about I don't want to explain myself, and see, that's the distortion that's gonna fuck it up because it's like, it's low. I don't want to speak low. It's like those who will get it will get it. But I said, what the fuck was that? But mind you, based on how, you know, the external reality tried to make me seem the things that happened to me, you wouldn't imagine I would be being pulled in these dimensions and meeting these entities and meeting, oh, what's up, Buddha? Hey, Christ. Like, and Krishna and all these things. You wouldn't think I'd be meeting them. I had a dream when, when I was in Texas, that was just like fucking Shiva. Like, Shiva and some other god were just playing in the grass. And I was with them. And it was kind of like I was the awareness of everything. I can't tell, man, I can't describe to y'all. Like, this is not it. Bro, like, I mean, I'm over here, bro. Y'all gotta understand how I was so, like, even now, I was so scared of myself that I'm asking my cousin, like, what do I do next? Like, what is all of this I'm witnessing? And no, nothing to be mean or anything. But even she goes like, well, when I tell you, you usually don't want. She's like, you need to be initiated. But funny enough, this woman that I spoke to literally told me I got initiated by the spirits and shit that she channeled, the dragons. And I said, yo, it's funny because I've always had an affinity for dragons. So you know, it's funny. It's like, this is why I say, if there was a random person in the forest, I always explain this. Say that there were no Bibles and no anything and no nothing, and it was just living. How would they come into consciousness? That shows you. Or how would they come into their own mind? They would obviously have to experience themselves in a way and then write it down in a book. Look at the temples of Lao Tzu, man. That's in the song KRS-One. Remind yourself. He put the snippet at the end. Look up Lao Tzu, Taoism, the Eightfold Path. It's you. Like, how would someone who didn't have a Bible awaken to this? It's just gonna hit them either one day like a near-death experience, or they're gonna just have this realization where everything is connected and it's you, man. You don't need a book. You don't need to know fucking Sanskrit. You don't. And that's what's funny is I sacrificed myself by when I awakened. I thought I needed to find these things. Well, things found me. Like, it wouldn't leave me alone. Angel numbers, synchronicities, this, but when it came to like trying to talk to my cousin, I'm like, actually, now that I think about it, I don't even know if I even talked to her about her experience when she first awakened. Because for me, it was like a little bit, well, of course, for everyone, it's going to be different. But what I came to know after, because, like, for me, I would say on my journey, I have to experience it myself. Like, what if I don't want to read a book? What if, what if there's a certain book you recommend to me that I don't feel like that's for me? Like, does that just stop my progress? That's the questions I ask myself. And then one day the answer came through. Man, I could tell y'all multiple experiences of when you, oh man, you are talking to source every time you speak. I can't. There's no more. We're gonna be talking forever because it's infinite. It's you. I'm done. It's you. It's you. It's fucking you.